Good morning, my neighbors! How you doing, Brother Craig? How you doing?
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? It's hump day. That's right, it's hump day. Welcome to Morning Motivation, your daily dose of inspiration and empowerment. I'm your host, Jamon, and I'm thrilled to have you join us as we kickstart our day with positivity and purpose. So whether you seek motivation, you want to be inspired, or you simply want to get your day started on the right foot, you come to the right place. Woo. Man, let me tell y'all.
How you doing, Brother Craig? How you doing?
How you doing? Today almost didn't happen, y'all, for a plethora of reasons. I wanted to start the show off with the Welcome to the Good Life by your boy Ye. Welcome to the good life. Because a lot of people think, the good life starts in your 20s. And in a way it does, because we talked about it. That's the beginning of your summer season. And so in that beginning, you're so optimistic. You get all this new freedom. You ain't checking in with nobody. You ain't following the same old rules that you used to follow. And it seemed like it's good. And then you go on and you make a few mistakes, trial and error season. And then you get into your 30s. Woo! And just when you thought you had life figured out, life steps in. Life steps in and start giving you them left, right jabs, them uppercuts, them gut punches. And it saddles you with a lot of uncertainty. Because now you paying real bills. Now you in real relationships. Now you are parenting real people who are looking to you for their livelihood, their space, their existence, their every need. And you have to balance your changes in growth and development with their changes, growth and development. Yeah, 30s, man, life starts giving you the business. Why? Because you've had 10 years, 10 good years of life experience. And a lot of that was carefree. A lot of that was carefree. Well, some of us, we started families early, so it wasn't so carefree. But we had all of our youth, all of our raw energy as fuel to get us through it. But them 30s, it kind of brought us down to, another space. Back to life, back to reality. And we start to realize that our parents may have been right about a thing or two. That's when it really starts hitting us that, dang, all them times they told me this, I thought they was just trying to be funny. They really knew what they was talking about. And then this magical thing happens. It's called your 40s. It's the last phase of your summer season. So you've had this high peak, you've had it drop down a little bit, and now it's going to this other peak because 40, there used to be this old saying. Y'all remember this? Lordy, Lordy, guess who's 40? Does anybody remember that saying? It was said really, really heavily the late 80s, early 90s. Anytime somebody would turn 40, especially for the ladies, when the ladies would turn 40, that's when ladies would get the glamour shots. Because it was like the mentality was still like, you going over the hill now, You went up, now you starting to come down. And so I remember the ladies, like my mom, her friends, and, some teachers, they'd be out huddled around, these pictures, because back then it was pictures, it wasn't the phone. They'd be huddled around the photo album or the pictures, and they'd be going, but I got my glamour shots, girl. And they be, makeup be flawless, hair be laid, outfit be like, sometimes it was a hat involved. Everybody didn't do the hat, but I found the hats like the most entertaining because it'd be the person who you never saw in a hat. You never saw it like that. And now it's like they're on the cover of a magazine. In a sense, it was almost like that last hoorah. The last hoorah. And the age 40 was considered, man, you better go on, do everything you can now, because in about 2 weeks, you're going to be old. And you ain't going to be able to do nothing but sit on the porch in your rocking chair and watch your kids and your grandkids play. And then you die. That was it. But I think most of us have realized that is not the actual reality. And I talk a lot about mismanaging your 20s and mismanaging your 30s. Because most of us, we have mismanaged some stuff only because we didn't really know any better. Because we're just living. And the culture has now changed and shifted us into a place now where we get more of a bird's eye view because the world has gotten smaller. I can go to YouTube or I can go to Instagram or TikTok and I can find people who are living in the space that I'm about to go to. And I don't mean apartment, I'm talking about age. I can find the OGs, at 50, at 40, 50, and 60 that's out there talking about what life is like in that space. I can turn on or go to another app and I can see what 20-year-olds are doing. But them 30-year-olds, oh, they kind of quiet because life is kicking their butts. So today we are finishing up our series on like how to dominate in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. And it probably was a longer series and it went a little longer than I wanted it to go just because of so many things happened during the time frame. And so today I want to close it out and I want to talk about those 40s and, why I say the good life begins at 40. Auntie Canada, what's up? She says, my oldest son started paying bills and adult life started kicking his behind. He would call me and say, Mom, I wish I can go back in I wish I could go back in your womb. My response, nah, homie, you got this. Nah, bruh. I tried. I thought I told y'all. I tried to tell you. Y'all thought it was sweet out here. Y'all thought them people really did care about you. Mm-hmm. Yep. Pops, moms, y'all was right about a lot of things. And the thing that makes 40 so much better is one word: wisdom. Wisdom. I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back. Wisdom. At 40, you've had 20 years of adult experience. And so in that adult experience, a thing happened. Something happened that should have informed you about life. You've had some challenges, some problems, some things you had to endure. So that's what we're going to talk about today, that process, and why I say 40 is when the good life really begins. 40 is when the good life really, really begins. So I'm going to give you guys a list real quick. And this list is going to really talk about the benefits and the challenges or concerns that many people face around that 40. And then in the end, we're going to sum it up and bring it back together. And I'm going to prove to you why. And so I looked at this list from a bunch of different ways. And it was very similar when you talk about when women turn 40 versus when men turn 40. So I'm going to give you some benefits, and I want you guys to see the similarities. So the top, 5 benefits that men have when they enter their 40s. Me fellas, we going first today. A man, once he enters his 40s, he develops a greater confidence, more self-acceptance. Because in our 20s, unless we are like athletes or entertainers, a man he hasn't proven himself. And even athletes and entertainers, they have to prove themselves worthy of the attention, the fame, the notoriety, whatever. But if you're just a regular guy, the world pays you no homage. There is no respect given to a regular guy in his 20s. If you are going out on a Saturday night and you get to the club and you in the line, and you will watch, if you're a guy now, you will watch crowds of beautiful women walk past you, going straight into the club, and security don't even pat them down. They just say, "Go on in. Hi, ladies, how are you? Go on in. You're looking good tonight." Like, "Hey, man, because I want to get in too." He said, "Hey, man, we got a quota on you, you mud ducks." You bum dudes, we got quotas on y'all. Because in their 20s, women have way more value naturally than men. So as a man enters 40, there's a greater sense of self-acceptance and confidence. Because primarily, over time, you've learned who you are. But there's also a downside to that. Metabolism starts to change. Hormones start to change. Your hairline that started right here, now it's sitting back here. You're thinning out. Gray starting to populate your face, and then your hair a little bit more. And so at the moment, you feel like, okay, I got some stuff going in my career. I got some stuff going in my personal life. I feel like I'm becoming the man now. Now you start losing some of your vitality, some of your youth. Your testosterone starts to decrease. So I know you're saying, that don't sound like it's a good thing. What up, D-Rob? That don't sound like it's a good thing, but just wait, hold on. Men also enter their peak earning potential around their 40s. Because now when a man does his resume, the experience that you've had, the number of opportunities that you had that would have catapulted you into some leadership situations, you're now more respected by the younger men. You're more respected now by the younger women. Now the value proposition changes. So who all 40 in here? Oh, if I had to guess, it's probably at least 3 to 4 people right now. Let's say 3. It's probably 3 of us in our 40s right now. Yeah, probably 3 of us in our 40s right now. And so a challenge with that is also work-life balance struggles, because now there's a higher demand on the time. There's a higher demand on the time. So guys in their 40s, because now you're more in demand in the workspace, in your career path, said, no, it don't sound good. However, there's an equal pull in the family life. Your children have gotten older now. They require not maybe as much time, but they have more events, more things happen that you probably should be present for. So that work-life balance kind of gets out of whack. Now let's contrast that. Those are the top 2 good things and challenges that men have. Let's contrast that with the ladies. Ladies, same deal. The first thing is you get an increased confidence and self-acceptance. I'm telling you, I'm struggling with words today. Self-acceptance. You get a little bit more comfortable in your own skin. You're not as pressured by the world to be flawless, maybe like you once were. You begin to understand that, okay, my value isn't solely in, the world the world tells me if my value is in my beauty. And for a lot of ladies, they believe that that's the only place their value lies. And so they put all their energy and attention into looking beautiful. Even though, yes, they're going to school, they're getting educated, but the world only sees the skin, the flesh, the appearance, the roundness, the firmness. I think it was India Ari that says, "I'm not my hair." She made a whole song about it. There's plenty of songs made about I'm more than this. I'm more than I think it was Angela or Maya Angelou. You know, I'm more than the curve of my hips and the fullness of my lips. But women also face some challenges in that department as well, because now there's hormonal changes. I heard my sister and I think it was my wife, somebody else talking about something called premenopause, and I'm like, what? What is perimenopausal? I'm like, I'm not even sure what that is, but apparently it's a concern for women as they enter their 40s. Hormonal changes, weight gain, what we call that middle age spread. Once upon a time, you could eat 13 Big Macs and 2 large fries and a Diet Coke, of course, and you wouldn't gain a pound. Today, you eat a slice of cake, you 4 pounds heavier. Shout out to that cake. Shout out to the cake. Same deal. Number 2, professional mastery, career opportunities. Professional mastery and career opportunities. Women face, or women reach their peak a lot of times in the space of job opportunity, because women tend to go to school more than men. Women tend to get more education than men. And in their 30s, a lot of women move into more leadership positions. And a lot of times men are still figuring it out, because the jobs that women go for traditionally and men go for traditionally, they're slightly different. It's starting to balance out a little bit now, but men do like dirtier jobs. Men do like harder labor jobs, in large, in general, than women. You know, even just if I just look at my household, my wife sits behind a keyboard pretty much every day. She get to wear some nice outfits, some slacks, some dresses, some heels, hair's done, makeup's on, and she looks cute when she goes to work. And she sits behind a desk and a keyboard, and she make things happen that way. Me, on the other side, I would normally have on some boots or some sneakers. I got on some kind of jeans and a t-shirt, button down most times, because I know I'm about to be running cables and climbing under tables, lifting heavy equipment, setting up stages, and I'm about to be doing a whole production, and I'm gonna do a lot of heavy lifting. And at the end of the day, I am physically tired. She might be mentally tired. I'm physically tired, and because of the nature of our work, the work that I do pays a little bit more. And so I forgot where I was going with that. I started thinking about, I got a job set up on Friday, so I started thinking about work. Anyway, Auntie Candace said, "Man, I started in my early 30s waking up soaking wet." Oh, so this that. What is it? Is it pre-menopause or is it perimenopause? I don't know. I just kind of overheard somebody talking about it. Having summers to myself. Sweating in my sleep. You know what? I be sweating in my sleep sometimes too. I think I might be experiencing that pre-menopause thing too. Just, us girls, we gotta stick together, and we gotta, give each other some tips and some tools, because I promise you, woo, if what I'm experiencing y'all's worse than that, I can't even imagine. But anyway, I'm gonna let that ride. But on ladies, your expertise grows, and you in leadership roles generally faster than guys in the same peer group. And then going into your 40s, you start to hit that max level because of your time and attention. And if you are a thinker, this is a great segue for this. If you are a thinker, you tend to make more money faster than if you are a doer. If you are a thinker, if you are a manager, remember we talked about on Monday, leverage. If I am out there physically doing the work, I am hitting the nail with the hammer, then I'm only getting compensated. I'm only gaining the experience of me doing the thing. And so my pay reflects that. And so that's where most guys fit early on. But then if I am a manager, now I leverage other people to hit multiple nails with multiple hammers. And so I'm learning a different skill set. And so because women do more mental math or mental work early on, the pay rate tends to increase faster, which is why you have a pay disparity between men and women in their 30s. You have a woman she's worked in retail. She started as a cashier, then she went to management, and now she's a regional director at 34, 35 for like Macy's or Nordstrom's or something like that. And so now she's making about $95,000, $100,000 a year. When her male counterpart, he may have played sports for a while and chased that dream, and then that dream didn't happen. Then he got a job working for Amazon or UPS or Walmart distribution, and he did that for a while. He loaded trucks, then he went to driving the trucks. And so now by the time he's 34, 35, he's making about 60. He's making about 60. And that's kind of how it goes. The more manual labor jobs don't pay as much early on. But over time, those jobs flip. And a lot of ladies cap out because unless you're starting your own company, a job can only pay you but so much. It can only pay you so much and still have a profit because they can't pay everybody what the CEO makes. So in the job, there's a cap. And so as guys get into their 40s, now they're owning the trucking companies. They bought 3 trucks, 4 trucks, 10 trucks along the way. Now they own the trucking company. They started their own plumbing business or their electrical HVAC business. Or they're into managing in the construction space. And they're doing multi-million-dollar projects. And so where it looks like there may be a pay disparity, it's really not a pay disparity. It was distributed differently. Does that make sense to y'all? It was distributed differently. It's the value proposition. And so I can go down this list and saying, we both develop stronger relationships in our 40s. We know who our friends are versus who pretended to be our friend for many years until they got what they wanted or they realized they couldn't get what they wanted, and then they no longer became our friends. We started an increase in financial independence, or we get more financial stability. We get more financial stability. Both men and women. We're both either at our peak or hitting our peak once we get into our 40s. We also start to understand that personal development, mental health is a very real thing. And so we tend to do more therapy. We tend to do more reading. We tend to do those things that give us peace of mind, peace of spirit. Like I talk about all the time, I go fishing. And a lot of times, I don't care if I catch a thing, but it's just out there in nature, just casting. Sometimes I'm sitting. And then some days I go to actually catch something. But that's my release. That's the way I recenter myself. I find my peace, no matter what's happening in my life. And so, yes, men and women both have health changes, hormonal changes. We both enter a financially good space. We both gain confidence. But there's a thing, and I tell y'all all the time that culture is stronger than everything. Culture is stronger than everything. And depending on who is dictating the culture, that is how we will receive and oftentimes how we act. And this is a really tricky subject because there's so much vitriol out in these internet spaces about, older men and older women and how older men are winning and older women are not winning. But it's the culture creating a narrative. Now, there are some benefits and there are some things that's not so beneficial on both sides. The value proposition is flipped because a man in his 20s really has no value unless he's providing some entertainment or some service that way. But a man in his 40s, he's looked at more of a leader. He's gained more experience. The jobs that he do tend to be a little bit more dangerous, and therefore they pay a little bit more once you start becoming a manager or an owner. But the biggest thing that separates men versus women, I truly believe, is mentality. Is the mentality that we have. A lot of people look for offense. A lot of people want to be offended. A lot of people, they love being the victim because it being a victim sometimes is beneficial depending upon what state you're in. I've known the biggest, burliest dudes that don't nothing bother them, but let somebody rear end them in the car going 2 miles an hour. Man, them juggers falling out the car, grabbing their neck. Oh, man. Oh, my back. Oh, I can't move, Elizabeth. I'm coming to join you, honey. Because they know in that moment, if I'm the victim, guess what? It might be a payday. The only reason people look to be a victim is because there's some benefit on the other end of it. Especially if it's not necessary. I'm not saying that there aren't victims in the world. There are. There's people who are victimized on a daily basis. But there are some people who look to be a victim because it benefits them. Some people look for security in places that they didn't earn, and quite frankly. And there's a bunch of people out there, male and female, looking for somebody else to take care of them. And so they're always at the whims of other people. I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but I'm talking about both men and women. I said people. People are out there looking for people to take care of them, and they're looking for that free ride. But there's this thing called, I talked about wisdom being the thing that really turns the tide when you turn 40. You have 20 years of life experience. And so that's the benefit. The challenge, I try to give challenges and benefits, but the challenge with that is applied pressure. Applied pressure. Culture. Auntie Canada said, I lived with someone that played victim for years, but always blamed others and never took responsibility for what they did. It was always everyone's fault. Yep. Because if it's your fault, I don't have to change anything. And so now we get into the crux of the matter now. Applied pressure. There's a lot of songs, a lot of talking to culture about pressure right now. I apply pressure. I apply pressure. And it's mostly ladies. They get that, you know what I'm saying? They get to that space where they're taking a 2024 glamour shot, you know. And they look amazing. I'll be honest. A lot of them look amazing when they take these pictures and they stand there in their new, you know, Sheen outfit or their Fashion Nova, you know, dress and the makeup and the hair's laid. I mean, it looks amazing. Looks amazing. But that's not the pressure that we're talking about. The pressure we're talking about is that cultural pressure, that expectancy. I'm 40 years old, and what do I have to show for my life? I'm divorced. I have 2 kids. I'm on my second marriage. I have 4 kids. I'm still in a job that don't pay me anything. Look at what my brother and my sister is doing. Look at my children. They just started working and they have better jobs than me. Right? I'm turning gray. My hairline is receding. Pressure. Applied pressure. The culture is pressuring all of us to be, do, and have something that we may not even want it. But it's what we see every day. It's what we experience every day. If I'm a man and I'm 29 years old and I ain't making at least $80,000 to $100,000, I'm a bum. I don't qualify for a quality relationship. If I'm a woman and I'm not, what's the measurements? 36, 24, 36. I don't qualify to have a top tier mate. If I don't have a Mercedes or a Beamer, or I don't live in a certain community, I'm not as good. And that's the culture applying pressure. That's social media. People living one snap at a time, showing you the highlights of their life. And we see it and we think that's reality. No, it's the highlights. It's been a whole 20-year movie going and they showing you 5 seconds of it. And it make you feel away. Applied pressure. So, the beauty of 40 is this. You ever seen old people? Speaking of myself. You ever seen old people like your grandparents and how they would come out the house, they have mismatched socks on and the shirt got a little hole in it or grease stain on it and you say, hey, granddad, what's wrong with your shirt, man? You gonna buy me a new shirt? Then shut up. Hey, Unc. Hey, man, you need to get some new shoes. What's wrong with my shoes? They keep my feet off the ground. My feet dry when it rains, but they've been up at the toe. Man, you better get out of here with that mess. Get out of here. At a certain age, you stop caring about stuff that don't matter. You release that pressure and you start becoming and living the life that you want to live. You drop crazy expectations. I'm talking about wisdom right now. Because now you've had 20 years of adult life experience. You've had to overcome so many obstacles, jump so many hurdles, only to find out that it wasn't as advertised. That you could have just done this. You could have stayed in school, got the degree. You could have stayed in the military and retired. I got out of the military around year 7. Around year 7. Because in my mind, if I do 10, I'm halfway there. I might as well keep going. But I don't want to do 20 years in the military. Man, I got other stuff I want to do. And y'all know what happened? At year 20, at year 20, I was 39. What would have been my year 20. I was 39 years old, and I was not in the best place in life. I didn't do anything really significant during those 13 years, and I wasted a lot of time. Now, don't get me wrong. I had some accomplishments, but I would have been better off in life had I just stayed in the military for those next 13 years. I would have secured a retirement check that I would never have to work for again. And I'm 39 years old. Auntie Canada said, I'm in my late 40s. You will not see me out in public with no bonnet on, no Daisy Duke shorts. I still like to look nice. Shout out to Auntie Canada, bro. Look, I'm telling y'all, it is nothing worse than being that person. The person who should know better but don't do better. It's nothing worse than being that person. And she was talking about wearing the bonnet. I talked about last week. Imagine me. I'm still relatively in shape. I still got some good muscle mass, but why would I take off my shirt and just walk around the neighborhood like I would have did when I was 20? Why would I do that? At some point, wisdom and maturity kicks in. And you have to become more evolved. Because truth be told, when I was 20, I was looking for attention. I wanted to flex on them a little bit. I wanted them girls to see I had some value. I wanted the dudes in the neighborhood to see, hey, I'm not the one to mess with, partner. When I go buy my little $500 car and then put $2,000 rims on it. I never did that, but you know. I find it funny because I'm like, bruh, if you gonna get the rims, at least let the rims, be let the car be as valuable as the rims. But I seen a dude go to the junkyard, buy a car for $300, drop a $400 motor in it, a $300 transmission in it. You ain't got $1,000. You barely had $1,000 yet, but then go put $2,000 rims on the car with no paint job. And then the car's on the side of the road a month later and somebody stole the rims overnight. You live and you learn, man. It's maturity. And so the things you did in your 20s, you probably shouldn't still be doing in your 40s. If you're a 40-year-old man, you should not be comparing yourself. I'm 48. There's no way on God's green earth that I'm about to compare myself to D-Rob. We in two spaces. I can admire D-Rob. D-Rob said, my first car was $1,000 and I put money into the stereo system. I did that as well, sir. Paint job was awful, but I was rolling, right? And that's cool to do it when you in your 18 to 28 range. They 10s, but I keep them clean. That's cool to do it when you're at that age. If you a 23-year-old woman and you out here with the Daisy Dukes on, the halter top with no bra, and you got your do-rag on, you mean your do-rag, your bonnet on, run to the store real quick. Most people ain't even looking at the bonnet. Just saying. But when you 40 and you're here with the Daisy Dukes on, hot top on, no bra, and the bonnet, I mean, you look much different than you did when you was 23. And not saying it's bad, but it's like, I don't care how young you look. I look young, I think, relatively, but I don't look like 23-year-old me. I don't look like 24-year-old my son, who's 24. I don't look like him. So I'm not fooling anybody. Yes, I still look good. I still look young, but I'm seasoned now. I got more life experience. Me trying to hold on to my 20s, it's like, well, I ain't gonna even say that. That's not nice. It's like trying to catch the wind. You ain't gonna catch it. Yeah, I seen the do-rags too. It's like me going to the gas station and getting a 40 ounce and a Black and Mild and going standing on my street corner and waving at the neighbors as they walk in. I said, bro, you killing my property value. You killing my property value. Who are you? But the mentality has to change with wisdom. The mentality has to change with wisdom and embrace being a seasoned citizen. I like that. A seasoned citizen. Because guess what? I am supposed to be an elder to my sons, to my nephews, to younger men. I'm supposed to have enough wisdom to say, hey, I like what you're doing. Keep going. Tweak this one little thing right there and you'll get a little further. I'm supposed to be an elder to take my knowledge, my wisdom, seasoned saint, and help the next generation move a little faster. That's what progress, that's what growth looks like in your community. But if I'm still trying to compete with D-Rob, I might be trying to compete with my sons, and we over there arguing over the same girls. What we doing? What we doing? And I've seen so many times, ladies, I know you love your babies, but you should not be 45 years old at the club with your 21-year-old daughter dressed the exact same way. Y'all over there ordering bottle service. It's not a good look. I'm just saying, I'm sorry if I'm offending somebody right now. It's not a good look. Because who does that girl look to for wisdom? Who is the elder in that community? Because I can't tell that 21-year-old nothing. Not about being a woman. And if you partying with her, how much respect does she really have for you that's going to be life-changing? Maybe that's personal preference for me. I don't know. But I've just seen it too many times. D-Rob said, but that's it. Only looking. Don't say nothing to me because I don't want you. And so we often talk about diamonds and, you know, not a good look. Where are the mothers of the church from back in the day? Oh, they was over the hill. Oh, they was over the hill. Lordy, Lordy, look who's 40. They was over the hill. Because their moms, their big mamas, wore those long house robes that they kept on all day long. The bathrobe with the grease stain on it from frying chicken first thing in the morning. the world changed. The world got smaller. And so I know there's new rules of engagement, but there has to be leaders and there have to be people that are led. And typically, the reason you are more respected in your 40s and in your 50s is because you've been through the grinder of life. You know that on the other side of what you're going through right now, you know that better things are coming. Think about all the school shootings that we've had. In many cases, it was somebody misguided because the elders, D-Rob, we're not going to start that today, but facts. We're not going to start that today, though. Another subject, another day. Oh, Sister Davis, better stop, girl. See, D-Rob, see, man, you be taking me over the edge sometime, bro. All right, but yeah, so these people who go out here and think about it. You think about all the gangs that's out there. Why are these kids joining gangs? Because the elders, their parents, are not really around to give them the guidance, to make them feel like they belong, to give them the love, because they're too busy trying to live the same life. They can't get out them streets. So their kids grow up with them in the streets. And so now their kids become the streets. And we're losing generations like that because the elders are afraid to be elders. They still want to be young. But there's a season for everything. I was reading this, The Creation of a Diamond. And bear with me for a second. So you have this raw material, right? Carbon. 90 to 120 miles deep into the earth. 90 to 120 miles down. So you got carbon, and now being so far deep in the earth, pressure, compacted, pressure, compacted, pressure. And because you're so far down, the heat from the earth's core. So you have a raw element, you have pressure, and you have heat. And now time. That's what our summer season is, folks. We're coming into our spring season raw. Raw. We are raw material. Then we hit those summers. That's when the pressure start building a little bit. Then we get into them 30s. Then we got heat. And life is kicking our butts. There's one thing after the next thing after the next thing. And then you get to your 40s. Time. Time. And over time, you become more and more valuable. Men become more valuable in their 40s and their 50s because of the time, the pressure, the heat they've had to endure. So now people respect them more because of where they come from, because of what value they offer and they add. Women, because of the heat, because of the time, because of the pressure, your value increase. But it's not in the street that it increases. It's in your family. It's in your community. Your value increases because your wisdom and your knowledge is where you gonna get that from? The value isn't in trying to hang out and still club. The value is in the leadership part of you. And some of us get it. Some guys, hey man, some guys still are trying to They at the basketball court every Saturday, still trying to run with the 20-year-olds, the 19-year-olds. Now, I'm not saying something wrong with good, a little healthy bit of exercise, but I've seen grown men out there way past their 40s, out there still trying to holler at the young girls, still trying to ball with the young boys, walking around there still busting a sag. It's like, what are we doing? I got a cousin right now that's in his 60s, or he just turned 60, and he's still on the same block he was on when he was 20. He still dressed pretty much the same way. He's still trying to walk around the streets with his chest poked out. And he still got dog in the end of his name. I don't call his first name, but it's Bump Dog, right? What are we doing? You see, when you can't take the pressure, when you can't take the heat, and you look to be a victim, you look to escape it, you don't ever really become that diamond. You become something, but it's always something weaker. To become a diamond, you got to stay in the fire. You got to take the heat. You got to take the pressure. And you have to be formed over time. It's no shortcut. But if you do that process right, the good life begins at 40. Because now you have the mental capacity, you still have the physical ability, because you still in your summer, you're still young, you still have vitality. But now you actually have garnered more respect because of your contributions, because you done stuck to your guns, because you didn't give up. You didn't become a pipe and let pressure burst you or bust you. Pressure be busting y'all down, man. Because you didn't want to go through the process. You didn't want to accept the change. And when you don't accept the change, you get left behind. You don't grow. You don't go to full term. So you premature. There's plenty of 50 and 60-year-old people that's premature. They still run around acting like kids because they never went through the process. And at a certain point, it's too late. 20s, 30s, 40s, that's when you are being made the diamond. In your 40s, you're a diamond. But now you still got to be shaped and molded. Auntie Canada said, you don't want to be the lab diamond, but a natural diamond. You got to go through the process. And the 40s is the realization of the process. The 40s is when you start understanding that I thought I made a mistake when I did this, and maybe I did, but it didn't take me out. I'm still here, and I learned from that. So now I have more here. So now going forward, I'm not going to make that mistake. Matter of fact, my daughter's coming behind me. Matter of fact, my son is coming behind me. And because they're my seed, guess what? They like doing some of those things too. So now I have the wisdom to guide them. And not just them, their bestie, their homeboy. When I see my son's friends, they will pull over in traffic to come holler at me. Hey, Mr. Glover, man, how you doing, man? Hey, just want to come shake your hand, man. Hey, I got a quick question for you. And I'd be like, yeah, what's up, man? Good to see you. We dap, you know, give them a little bro hug. Be like, hey, man, good to see you, man. How your family doing? How your mama doing? Come on, Pops, man. Don't do me like that. I'm just playing with you, bro. What's up? But I'm respected, not because I can still tote the rock. I'm respected not because I'm still a great wrestler. I'm respected not because I was a soldier. I'm respected because I'm a man of wisdom. Because I add so much value to their life. I give them so much free game that some of them may have fathers that did it, and some of them may not have fathers that did it. Some of their fathers not even around anymore. Some of their fathers never been around. And so it is the benefit, it is the purpose of age to be able to give back. And what you find out is that your life becomes more full, it becomes more rich. People will lean on you more. People will respect you more. There's benefits. I go to a restaurant sometime and I go to pay my check and somebody's already paid it. I don't even know who paid it, because it was something I did for somebody else that they really appreciated. So what's a $15 meal? This man has given me so much advice. What's $15? Matter of fact, I don't even want him to know I did it. I just want him to know that somebody appreciates him. And the danger of not going through that process, though, is you wake up one day and you'll look and you realize that you are behind the 8 ball. You're behind the power curve. And then you'll start comparing your life with other people's life. And then you will start applying pressure to the people around you. You'll start demanding that your spouse or your partner do this or do that to earn more money, or why we ain't traveling like they traveling over there. And now the wisdom that you should have is going to cost you, because you're going to burn that person out. And they're going to get tired of dealing with you. They're going to get tired of the pressure that you're putting on them unnecessarily, because you're disrupting their peace. Nobody wants their peace disrupted, especially unnecessarily, especially by the person who should be wise enough to understand what the game is. And this is no gender. This is gender neutral, because there are men who have unrealistic expectation of their wife or their partner. There are women who have unrealistic expectations about the person that they're with as well. Don't wake up at 45 and realize I'm so far behind the power curve that I must make extreme measures to catch up, and then expect somebody to jump on that wagon with you. It tends not to work that way. You see, the mentality is a product of your wisdom. And the wisdom is a byproduct of your journey, of your process. So whether you a natural diamond that was 120 miles underneath the earth, that had enough pressure and enough heat and then time to push to the surface, and then somebody found you, or you was mined. Auntie Canada said, a lab diamond has a cheaper value, but a natural diamond has more value than the lab diamond. For sure, it's better to receive the reward after we go through the process. Yeah. How many people do you know? Well, maybe not know. How many athletes or celebrities that made millions of dollars in their 20s and then they blew it, and then they spent their 30s trying to remain relevant, and then in their 40s you find them on drugs somewhere because they finally gave up, because they never went through the process. They found a cheat code but had nobody to give them game, or they wouldn't listen. Life will exact the cost on all of us. I promise you that. Go through your process. Wherever you find yourself now, just be intentional. I want this. I'm moving toward that. Life gonna teach you whatever you need to know, but you need to know which way you want to go and then adapt as you move. That's how you get your wisdom, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Thank you for joining me this morning. If you enjoyed this morning's show, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you know somebody struggling with this phase in their life, share this video with them. Let them know that we do a thing here on Monday and Wednesday mornings called Morning Motivation. It's deep work. Sometimes it might be triggering, but I promise you, it's worth it. So y'all have a great day. You're going downhill, finish strong, be blessed, and we'll see you on Monday. Yep, Monday. All right, y'all be blessed. Talk soon. Peace.